Hello and welcome. I'm Katrina Pratt Roebuck, and I am the founder and CEO of Uplifme. And Uplifme is a national resource hub that provides information on social service events happening across the country that addresses social determinants of health. So today I have with me Ron Toles, who is the Executive Director of Ordinary Heroes. Welcome, Ron, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
So, can you tell me a little bit about your organization and the work that you do?
Sure. So Ordinary Heroes, we're a youth serving organization,
Mhm.
and we're really focused on walking beside young people, helping to support the genius and brilliance that we know that all of our young people have, but they
Mhm.
may just be hitting up against some challenges and barriers. So all of our programs are created and governed by our young people. We're not doing anything that they don't want us to do. So we offer leadership development. We have a creative arts program that does film and photography because our young
Mhm.
people like to express themselves in different ways.
Mhm.
And then on the flip side of that, the young people that are coming out to programming were coming from homes and communities that were fighting some food insecurity.
Mhm.
And so, with their help, we've started a farm, and we also have a mobile food pantry, which is essentially a U-Haul truck that we converted into a grocery store.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about those services? So they seem like some of them are creative focused, and the other one is food security. Can you talk a little bit about how you settled on those two, and
Sure.
I guess perhaps who you serve? How do folks access the program, the youth that you engage?
Yeah, we're headquartered and we do most of our work in the zip code 19140, which is the Hunting Park
Okay.
zip code,
Okay.
which is a large zip code and includes Gratz and a couple other
Mhm.
big kind of well-known schools. So when we first started our leadership development program, we found that a lot of our young people would show up without the guarantee or the promise of a third meal. And some of them
Mhm.
wouldn't even have a second meal. And so we wanted to
Mhm.
make sure that our young people could get the things that we were trying to give them, but hunger was in the way. So we always serve dinner every time we have our young people, or dinner or lunch.
Mhm.
And so that's how we kind of settled on expanding out our youth focus to a food justice focus. Because
Mhm.
if the young people are coming to us and they're missing these meals and they don't understand nutrition education, we wanted to make sure that they were able to take those things back home, and then that home knowledge kind of transformed into a community need. And so that's how those food justice programs came about. Yeah.
Okay, and so can you talk a little bit about, for people who might not be familiar with the term food justice, can you talk
Sure.
a little bit about what that actually means?
Yeah, so there are spaces and communities that live in a certain distance away from having access to fresh foods and
Mhm.
nutritious foods and things like that. So we want to food justice is a term and a movement to create equitable access to these things.
Mhm.
So in our communities, we found a lot of corner stores, and we have things like that, and we want to make sure that families, especially young people, are able to access fresh fruits and vegetables, healthy food stable items in an equitable way. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so you mentioned that you take a U-Haul truck and you turn it into like a supermarket. What does that look like, and how often do you do that?
Yeah, so right now we do it once a month. We're
Okay.
about to move to twice a month. On one side of the U-Haul truck, we have, shelves, just like you find in the average grocery store aisle.
Mhm.
We have everything from mac and cheese, and we have fresh vegetables. We have some canned goods. We have rice. We have cereal. All the things that you would go shopping for. And then on the other side of the U-Haul truck, we have a refrigerator that holds things that are perishable. We have meats. We have eggs and dairy in there. And then we have volunteers, usually our young people, who go to the residence doors of the folks who have signed up. They take the order from the resident based off of our inventory. We have created a very simple ordering system. And so they use our iPad, they order from the inventory. That order goes to the truck. Our volunteers bag the groceries up, and then somebody runs that back to the house. So
Oh my goodness.
our ordering and delivery all happen at the same time. We never rush through a neighborhood. We like to take our time and spend time understanding the needs of the homes. What are we serving that they don't want? What are things that they do want but we don't have on the truck? So we really want to make sure it's participant focused and make sure that we are serving the actual need of the community.
That's amazing. I had not heard of that model before. Is that
Yeah.
something that you guys just sort of came up with, or is that something you've seen in other places?
You know, growing up, we visited a lot of pantries, and I've always taken issue, and I think they do great work.
Hmm.
Um, I've always taken issue with standing in long lines to get this food and cars driving by, and my
Hmm.
mom standing with her back to the street because she doesn't want somebody to recognize her and
Hmm.
things like that. And so we wanted to make sure that we had dignity in the way that we serve food.
Okay.
Um, and again, I think stationary, regular food pantries are great. Just brings that service right to their front door. You have folks who have mobility challenges. You have single
Hmm.
moms who just can't make the
Yep.
time for the pantry hours, and a whole
Yep.
bunch of other things. You have seniors who bring their carts and they stock
Mhm.
it up, and then they're walking 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks down the street pushing this cart. So we wanted to eliminate all those barriers and just bring that service right to the front door.
Yeah, it's very thoughtful, and I think really interesting that you sort of taken all of these different challenges that you've seen and created this solution that
Yeah.
focuses on addressing all those challenges. Can you talk a little bit about who then, and I want to go back to what you were saying about the creative efforts that you
Mhm.
have with the youth. Can you talk about how folks get services from you? So both on the creative side as well as the food side. How do folks gain access to your programs and services?
Yeah, so a lot of folks reach out to us via social media. We do a lot of
Okay.
advertising there. And then we have a website. But I'm happy to say that majority of the folks who receive our services and just kind of know about what we're doing is word of mouth. We
Okay.
really focus on quality. And so I take it as a badge of honor that somebody would be receiving services, whether it's their young person in our film and photography program, or whether it's somebody who comes to our farm, they find it the quality, and so they share it with other people. So I'd say about
Mhm.
80% of the folks who get our services do that. We do have some relationships with some community centers and churches that also share that information out as well. But again, it kind of means nothing. It kind of means more when your
Mhm.
neighbor is telling you, hey, somebody
Sure.
that you trust is telling you about that. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, in terms of the film and photography school, can you talk a little bit about the work that you do with the youth? What types of projects do you work on? How does that translate into the services that you're ultimately providing to them?
Yeah, we want to make sure that our young people have a voice,
Mm,
right? And that they are at the forefront of the things that we're doing. So we started our leadership development program. Some of it kind of has a feel of traditional school. And so some of our young people were kind of pushing back against that and saying, hey, I've been in school for X amount of hours. I
mm,
don't want to extend that. So, using the arts, we're able to still get through those messages that we want to get through: decision making, teamwork, emotional intelligence. But they're able to express those things and learn those things from a creative standpoint. And
got it.
so they learn the uh, basic tools of photography and of film. They put together short films and documentaries about the topics that they choose. Most
Mm,
of the time, it's about growing up in Philadelphia or growing up in a particular neighborhood in Philadelphia. And then we have a photography exhibition where they pick a theme, and then everybody kind of takes images around that theme. And so last year it was um, gun violence. And a
mhm.
couple of years before that, it was housing inequality.
Okay. And how old are the youth that participate in the programs?
For our leadership development, it's 11 and up. For our
Okay.
film and photography, it's 14 and up.
Okay. Okay. So you're serving folks that really starting in middle school.
Yeah.
And I think that that's important to highlight because I know that a lot of what I've heard from folks in the field is that folks are younger and younger, unfortunately, being drafted, if you will, in the streets
Yeah.
around negative behaviors and to give youth a positive outlet. And, everyone I think who I have served that is a young person wants to do something that's constructive and positive and be heard and be seen. So I really appreciate the work that you're doing in that space. Can you talk a little bit about perhaps something maybe someone knows about Ordinary Heroes but doesn't know all of the work that you do? Could you talk a little bit about something that perhaps people don't know that you would like them to know?
Yeah. Would love for folks to know that, though you may see adults in terms of um, leadership and for the organization, we have a youth advisory board, which we bring everything to. We lay it in front of them, and this is what we'd like to do. We think this particular experience would be helpful or beneficial, and they're the ones that really make those decisions. So
Wow.
um, supporting OH or checking out OH is really supporting young leaders. And so I wake up every day, I have a million ideas and I present them to the young people and they usually shoot them down because I'm older and they feel like that something else can be done. But being able to allow young people to be in the room and make the decisions is very powerful. They'll take some decisions, some ideas we have, they'll shift it, they'll transform it into something new. And that's why the programs are so effective because it's coming from folks who are the same age and think the way that our participants think. So I think it's extremely important to know.
Yeah, it feels like it's obvious, but I don't think that most people do that. What you're saying is powerful and empowering, and I think that to your point, absolutely. Taking it to the folks that will receive the programming and them saying this is going to be effective or not, I
Right.
think is not often given the credit that is due. Um, can you talk a little bit about perhaps something you're looking forward to accomplishing in the coming year?
Yeah, we're looking forward to expanding. So our model for our youth programs, specifically for our leadership development, is we don't go past 25 young people, and even
Okay.
that's a stretch. We really
Mhm.
believe in this deeper rather than wider model, where we feel like we want to walk with these young people year after year after year and show them the consistency of support, show them the
Mm.
consistency of the academic support that we give and the relationship building, and really dig deep in terms of what we would like for them to know. And so we're at our mark. We're at 25. We still have folks who are trying to send their young people. And so it's time to begin to expand a bit and to see what that will look like in another part of right now we're in North Philly. So in another part of North Philly, which will be interesting because, you know, just because what works in Hunting Park might not work in Strawberry Mansion. And
Right.
so talking to those young people and seeing what they want,
Mhm.
we'll have the same model, but it may be different programs or maybe different topics. So it's exciting. It's exciting when young people are in the room able to determine what they want to learn.
Well, I'm excited to see the growth and I'm excited to see what the young folks have on the agenda for the expansion.
Thank
Um,
you.
so just wanted to give folks an opportunity to learn how they can support Ordinary Heroes. So can you talk about how people are able to donate or are there volunteer opportunities with Ordinary Heroes?
For sure. So our website is ohmovement.org. We have a list of events there, upcoming events that anybody can donate or reach out and ask more questions about. They can
Okay.
also contact us on the website, as well as our social media platforms, which are Ordinary Heroes, one word on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and all of those opportunities are there, as well as opportunities to donate. And then in September, this upcoming September, we'll have this is our 10-year anniversary. Very exciting.
Congratulations.
So we'll have a 10-year anniversary dinner. So anyone who wants to come out and support, that information will be up on our website shortly.
Okay, great. And I will make sure that all of these notes are in the show notes so people can go directly to your website and donate and volunteer.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for spending time with me today. I really enjoyed hearing about your work.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Very exciting.
Take care.
All right, you too.